Alright, so this tutorial video is for Project 3, Cert 1 Business Project 3 Task 2. So at the beginning of any task, regardless of whether you're coming back to it or you're starting it off for the first time, it is best to have a quick read through what you need to do for the task, okay, to refresh your memory or obviously to get the information on the task if you're just starting. So this is for Task 2, the Job Planner. So I'll just scroll through the project document and have a look at Task 2. So following is a list of the jobs Tim Munro has asked you to perform today. Note you are not actually required to complete these jobs for this assessment. Your main role, as it says in the, I'll just scroll back up quickly to the project description, you will be helping to plan, prioritize and schedule jobs. So your task here for these three, okay, particularly, for these two and three, it is all about planning, prioritizing and scheduling jobs. You don't actually have to complete the jobs as they're listed. You don't have to do all those things. We're just planning as if we were going to do the jobs. Okay, so having a look here, the following is a list of jobs. So we have a whole list of jobs here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs, and then another 3 listed below. Okay, these are the additional jobs. So the first one is you need to create some safety signs to be printed in colour on A4 paper. The next one, a letter and envelope, is to be typed up ready for Tim Munro to sign. Using information provided by Tim, prepare a spreadsheet showing the costs of the promotional uniforms to be used for the event. Collect photos from Tim Munro. These need to be make copies of the advertising flyer that have been prepared for the event. And then you've got additional jobs which are part of your regular duties. Distribute incoming mail, attend the weekly meeting, and relieve the receptionist at the front desk when she takes her lunch break. Alright. You've then also got here that your hours of work are 8:30 AM till 5 PM. Your lunch break is 12 PM for 30 minutes, and you must ensure you have morning tea for 15 minutes at an appropriate time. Okay. To go through these, you should be going through these in class with your teacher, but the breakdown of what you need to know about each of these jobs, okay, the breakdown of what you need to know for each of these jobs is as follows. The best way to attack those jobs and to look at them, or I guess to understand them, is to ask yourself 5 questions. Okay, how long will it take? You need to know how long it will take you to actually get the job done. What things do we need to get the job done? We need to know what things we need. These are the resources. Resources are those things that we need to get the job done. You also need to know when do you need to get the job done by. Most of the tasks will have a time frame in which you need to get them completed, and you need to know what that is. We also need to prioritize it, which is what is the priority of this job. Is it the first job we need to do, the second, the third, the fourth, and so on. And if there's any other important points that we need to take note of. Right? So I suggest that you go through and answer these questions for each and every single task. Okay, you can see that I have answered those there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at that. But for every single task, I have asked and written answers for those 5 jobs. 5 questions. Okay. Once you've done that, okay, you've read through all the information, you understand it, you can begin to create the actual job planner. With the jobs listed in mind, you will need to prepare the job planner using a spreadsheet. Instructions are as follows. This job planner will help you when you go to actually complete these jobs. When it's your turn, when it's your time to complete the jobs, you're not really going to do that, but if you were, this job planner will help you complete the jobs. It will help you undertake and get those jobs finished. Okay. Create the spreadsheet in accordance with the style guide extract for spreadsheets. We'll talk about that in a moment. But this list here tells you exactly what you need to do. Tells you exactly what you need to do in that spreadsheet. Okay, as well to the style guide. Okay, the style guide takes you through step by step everything that you need to include, and things like fonts, backgrounds, all that type of stuff. size of cells, shading, all of those items are detailed in the style guide extract. Okay, so to start off, or from here, we need to get the style guide extract open and open a brand new Word, Excel document ready for us to begin work on. Alright, so now that you have the style guide extract open and also a blank Excel spreadsheet, so we need to use both this Excel spreadsheet and the style guide extract to complete or to create our job plan. The style guide has how many sections? Has 7 sections. Okay, header, footer, table, charts, page layout, printing, and file naming. These 7 sections detail what you need to do for each of these. Now, something that you may not have encountered, or we did encounter headers and footers when we were using Microsoft Word, but and when you've used Excel in the past, you may have used Excel in the past as part of another class, you may not have realized that Excel actually has a header and a footer, and that we will need to modify that. When we create our spreadsheet. A lot of this and some of this you will see from that it is exactly the same as our reports or similar. So the first one there, header, include a title in the header, formatted using heading 3, Arial black, size 14, color black. So there we go, we've already got some similarities there in our font styles. So the report style guide used Arial black, so does the Excel style guide. The date created should also be in the header, as well as the pale blue logo. That was very similar to our header from our report. And the logo can be resized, but the aspect ratio must be kept intact. Where do we get the logo from? You will find the logo in the required documents section. So the exact same place you got the style guide extract from. The footer, you need to include the file name, and initials of the creator and page numbers in the footer. Again, this is the same as our report. Arial size 8 italics. Okay. This is information there on tables. I'm not going to read through all of that. We will get into that when we start creating our spreadsheet. Also too, we will need to create charts. And there's some information on that there. Page layout, we'll modify that. I'll go through that as we develop and create our spreadsheet. Same too at the end when we get to printing. But the first thing, the very, very, very first thing that I will tackle is file naming. So before we've even started, we can save this. Okay, we can save this. Well, actually, let's just check. Before we do anything, we can save our document with the correct file name. Now, this is going to benefit you in 2 ways. Number one, if you accidentally lose the document or something happens, you've got a saved version. Okay, it'll promote you and it'll encourage you to save more regularly. All right. I'm just going to start off. I'm going to save this document. To do so, file. I know it's empty. I know there's nothing on there, but we're going to save it. Okay, we're going to start off and save it. All right, and we're going to save it as per the style guide extract, and also to the folio. The folio gives you actually the exact what you should save it as. It says save as spreadsheet job planner your initials. So I'm just going to copy that and paste that in. Okay, needing to making sure that you're changing where it says your initials, you actually put your initials. Make sure you put your initials. But this does match the style guide because it says that you must have the publication type, topic, and then your initials. So spreadsheet, that's the type of document. Job planner, that's the topic, and then your initials. Okay. So please save your document with that exact file name now. All right. With that done, we'll go back to the folio. And begin to look at, so we know that first point there, create the spreadsheet in accordance with the style guide. We've got our style guide extract open, so a big tick there for us, we've got that ready to go. Set up the following column headings: priority, job description, resources, and equipment needed, and time needed for completion. So these are going to be our column headings. Okay. In an Excel spreadsheet, you have columns, and rows. Columns go up and down. They are labelled with the alphabet. Columns go up and down. They are labelled with the alphabet. Rows go from 1 to infinity and go left to right. Okay. A box, one box in the EXL document is called a cell. Cell. C-E-L-L. Cell. Okay. If someone asks you, or if the document says go to cell F8, it means go to the intersection of column F and row 8. F8. Okay, that is how cells, that is how you navigate through an Excel spreadsheet. It is a matrix using the columns and the rows. The reason they would be called cells is that each cell is next to another cell, very similar to how actual cells, like living cells, like human cells or skin cells or whatever type of cell, very similar to how they exist, in that cells are butted up and they sit next to each other. So that's why they're called cells. All right, we need to, or as per the folio, going through just step by step, set up the following column headings. I'm just going to start off, I'm just going to copy and paste this, copy and paste those headings just into just a random cell here, okay? And I'll always paste in just as text only. So I've just got that information there. This will not stay or live here, and it will be needed to be removed. When we set up, or when we use an Excel spreadsheet, we always begin in A1. You always begin in A1. Never begin over here in D1, and never start down here in A7. You always begin in A1. So it has told us that these are going to be our 1, 2, 3, 4 column headings. So this will be columns A, B, C, and D. The first one, priority. I'm going to copy that, just paste the word priority, getting rid of any punctuation, into cell A1. I'll then do the same for the rest. Job description. Resources and equipment needed. I'll put that into C1. And time needed for completion. D1. All right. Something to note. When I pasted this information in, these titles in, I put it into cell E9. Now notice when it is displayed, it goes past cell E9 and looks like it is in cell F9, G9, H9, I9, J, K, L, M, and N9. It looks like it goes all over those cells. It does not. If you put something in a cell, it is only in that cell. If I press my right arrow and go over into F9, notice that the bar up the top here, the formula bar, this is called the formula bar, notice that it has nothing in it. When I click on E9, it has everything in it. But when I go to F9, there is nothing. So just because it goes over multiple cells, or it appears to go over multiple cells, it is not actually in that. You put something in a cell, it will only be inside that cell. These are the boundaries of where it is contained. Okay? You can see here how the words time needed for completion go over into E1. If I increase the size of D1, you'll notice that it is there, and if I keep going, it increases and has lots of room there. You can see it goes over multiple, it does not go over multiple cells. Okay? All right. So now, if that you have your job titles, the column headings in, we can delete what we had here. Okay, that was just merely so we could copy and paste across. Now we can't see the full title of column B, job description. We can't see it. It's hidden because column B is not wide enough it is not wide enough to show the whole title or the whole heading. So a little trick, we can either drag this out, okay, and now we can see it, yes. Or little trick, if you double click there between B and C, it will make it the exact size needed to show whatever is in that column. So go ahead now and double click between each column and make the column width the exact width needed. So double click, please. With these column widths, we will adjust these. These will be adjusted later on. I'm just ensuring and just showing you the ability to do that double click. Okay, so we may make these smaller or bigger, okay, depending on how we format the spreadsheet to look later on. Okay, but just for now, that is fine. Okie dokie, back to our folio. I'll use this one. Actually, this is the document I will use. Okay. Set up the following column headings. So, let's cross that out. We have done that now. We've done that. Okay, we have done that. The next 1, 2, 3, 4 points, next 4 points, all talk about what we put under each column heading. Okay, they all talk about what we put under each column heading. Now this information for these next 4 points all comes from this information above. Okay, so where we've looked at how long a job will take, what things you need to get the job done, etc., etc. All that information, okay, has to do with these next 4 points. Okay, we're going to continue on in this video working with the style guide, and ensuring that every single part of this style guide is followed. Okay, that we make sure and ensure that everything is correct. All right. Let's start off by crossing off what we have already done. Okay, we have named our document correctly, so we can cross that one off. I'll go back and I'll press save. Just periodic saving is a good idea. Digital files are to be stored in appropriate departmental folders on G Drive. We can cross that one off too, because you are saving it in an appropriate file. We would need to be saving this, or you should be saving this into your Cert 1 business folder under Project 3, or into your Project 3 folder. All right. Printing is, we'll go backwards. Printing, we're not ready to print yet. We are not ready to print yet, so there's no point in looking at that one yet. But we can look at page layout. Page layout. Number 5.1. Allow minimum margins on all sides of 1 centimetre. So we need to modify our margins to 1 centimetre. So this happens in page layout under margins. Currently our margins are set to normal. 1.9 top and bottom, 1.7 left and right. I'm going to go to custom margins, and the dialog box appears. I'm going to take them all down to just to 1 centimetre, 1.0 centimetres. So top, left, right, and bottom. Please do that now. So we just press OK on that one, and you'll notice that nothing really changed. Okay, that is because we're currently not in a print view, but our margins are set now to the correct 1 centimetre, left, right, top, and bottom. Okay. You may see in the margins, custom margins box, that there is also a value for headers and footers. There is no need to change that. The style guide does not specify, or it just says allow minimum margins on all sides. Okay, so all sides being the left, right, top, and bottom. Okay, so do not modify the header and footer values. All right. Let's cross that one off because we have done that. Landscape page orientation to be used unless otherwise directed. Alright, so we need to use landscape orientation unless otherwise directed. So going back to the document, it does not tell us, or nowhere above has it said anything about Excel settings. Okay, should have read through that. Okay, it doesn't say anything there. I'll give you that one. We know that these 4 points are all about what goes in the columns. Sort your jobs list based on priority and deadlines. Create a chart showing your jobs and the time allocated for each in accordance with the style guide. So it says nothing there about the page orientation. Okay, and then it's the end of the task. So it says nothing there about page orientation. So we need to be changing our page orientation to landscape. Okay, to landscape. Again, you don't see any change in the document because currently it is just a spreadsheet. Okay, where when we get to print view, you'll see that all of these changes will have taken effect. So please now change your orientation to landscape. So we'll head to the style guide now and remove, or sorry, cross out that we have done that one. Next, tables to be centered horizontally within the page margins. Now eventually what will happen is once we put information into this, it will become a table. Okay, it will become a table. And using the cells, it will create a table. We need to ensure, as per the style guide here, that everything is centered horizontally, or tables to be centered horizontally within the page margins. Okay, this comes down to our page setup. We need to go into page setup, so page layout, page setup. Okay, and in our margin section where we were before, we can center on page horizontally. Okay, and this will ensure that whatever cells we print, whatever cells we use for our table, they're going to be not in the top left-hand corner, they'll be horizontally in the center and at the top of the page. Notice that nowhere in the style guide, or it does not say in this part here, that we have to center it vertically. It says tables to be centered horizontally. So only horizontally center the spreadsheet on the page. Okay. So please change the so that your table will appear in the center of the page horizontally. Once you've done that, you press OK, and we'll go back to our style guide and cross it off. So we've already smashed through 2 sections of our style guide. While we're there, while we've done that, after we've done that section, I'll save so we don't lose any of the work we've just done. Charts, section 4, charts. So chart section, similar to section 6, printing, we won't be able to do that yet. Okay, but we can do at this point the header and the footer, and we'll be able to do some elements from the table section. Some elements we won't be able to do until we actually get information in the cells. So we'll start with the header. Include a title in the header formatted using heading 3, Arial black, size 14, color black. So how do we get to the header? Now or if you're familiar with Word, to get to the header, you can double click on the header and open it, or you can right click and press edit header. Okay, whereas in an Excel spreadsheet, let me pull that spreadsheet back up, that doesn't exist. Okay, that does not exist. All right. Similarly, we can go to, alright, so to get to it, we got to go into the view section, or the view ribbon, and if we view as page layout, the headers should appear. Okay, the headers will appear there as small boxes. Okay, now we may need to actually modify. I think the style guide isn't quite working in that we need to modify, and because the header boxes are very, very small, if we type anything in there, so if we type anything in there, we may not actually see it. Okay, we may not see, there we go, we're not going to actually see that, it's going to be obstructed. So while I've just said previously to not change the margins for the header, I'm going to change these to 0, and same with the footer. And that should, there we go, and that should provide us, that then provides us, okay, with a considerable header there. So I've just modified the margins and changed header and footer to 0, and that gives us a header that we can work with, that we can put information in. So please make that change now. All right, with our header now, with some more space, we can start to insert what is required. The style guide says that we need to include in that header, include a title, formatted using Arial Black size 14. So I'm going to put my heading in the middle, and I'm going to call it job, or just simple job planner, and it's going to be Arial Black size 14. Now again, that's not quite ideal. And I'm going to modify the top margin just slightly and the bottom to match. There we go. So I've gone against the style guide in the margins, and I've just changed the margins to 1.5 at the top and bottom. Okay, I've just changed those margins to 1.5 top and bottom, and I've added job planner there in Arial Black size 14. Okay, modifying that just allows us to see the words job planner a lot better. Okay, so please make that change. While I know it goes against the style guide, we also have to make sure that it looks good as well. So sometimes you can make some little changes to suit, and I'm allowing that now. So please make those changes, please. All right. With that, I'll go back to the style guide extract and I'll cross that out because that has been included. The date created should be in the header, top left, as well as the pale blue logo, top right. So let's put the date created first in the top left. So this is really easy because we've already got a top left box. Okay, we've already got a top left box. And it's the same process, or actually there we go, create date. Certain date. There we go. We can put in the date. We can also put in a field. Alright, so we're going to use the current date function and just add that in. Okay. It should also tell us, does it tell us, it does not tell us what font to put the date in as. It does not tell us what font, but using our knowledge of the style guide, we're going to make it the same as the rest of the text, which is down here at 3.4. Arial font size 10 should be used other than for headings. So Arial font size 10. So I'm going to change that date. After putting the date in, it's going to become Arial size 10. Okay? So Arial size 10. So while it does not say that, we're going to use our knowledge of the style guide to ensure that the font used matches the rest of the document. So do that now. So the next, going back to the style guide, we've put that one in there. The next thing here is we need to add the pale blue logo. So you get that from the required document section. So if we go to the required document section, you need to download the logo called Logo Player Pale Blue. So I'll download that one now. So there it is there, and you can just save picture as. So make sure you save. You need to download and save this. You cannot copy and paste. You need to download. Okay, you need to download the logo, okay, and save it onto your computer in order to insert it. So save a copy of the logo, please. Now with the logo, we can go into the far right hand side of the header. And go to the far right hand side of the header.
Okay.
and we can insert the picture. Now to do that, we go to the picture. So we go into the header and footer tools design picture, and that's why I said you needed to actually insert the picture. Okay. Oh, sorry, save the picture, because you need to so seeking out or finding where you've saved the logo, select it, and then insert it into the space there. Okay. Now notice what comes up is just the words and, or the ampersand in a picture. If I click off, you'll see that the logo then appears. Okay, when you click in the box, it just has ampersand picture. Okay, we cannot, like we do in Microsoft Word where we adjust, we grab the corner and adjust the size, we cannot do that here. Okay, that logo should not come down or be visible through these cells here. We need to reduce it so that it just sits in the corner and is very, very small. So to do that, we go back into our header and footer tools, format picture. Okay, format picture. Something we need to ensure, which it says in the style guide here, 1.2.1. The logo can be resized, but the aspect ratio must be kept intact. Okay, we need to resize this, but we want to keep the aspect ratio. So ensure that this box here, lock aspect ratio, okay, lock aspect ratio, make sure or ensure that that is ticked. Okay, by doing that, we can then just reduce the percentage size of the logo until it's small enough to fit in the header. Okay, so I'm going to start off, I'm going to cut it in half first. We'll see if that works. Press OK. So it's gotten smaller, but it's not quite small enough.
Do spelling, grab any
35%. We're getting close.
Reading, you can more set level readers for homework. Okay, so if you do comprehension here with her, say your homework is
20
features on your own.
Alright, 20 looks perfect. Let's add a couple more. Let's go back to, let's go to 22 and see 22 there begins to hit the cell. So 20 is perfect. So please modify that picture or insert the picture and modify that now. Remembering, design, picture, then format picture, lock the aspect ratio and adjust the scale. Right, so with that logo in, we'll go back to the style guide extract and we'll cross out the rest of 1.2 and 1.2.1 because we've finished all of that one. Okay, the last part for this video will be including the file name, initials of the creator and page numbers in the footer. Arial size 8 italics. This is very similar to what was done or what happened in the reports. Excel's pretty basic with their footers. Okay, same too with the headers. It's exactly the same. We've got a space at the bottom and we've got 3 boxes. We need the file name, the page numbers and your initials. So I'm going to put my initials on this side. I'm just going to go BL. I'm going to put the page number in the middle and I'm going to put the file name on the left hand side. Changing all of those to match the style guide. Arial size 8 italics. So the file name, you can find that up the top in the design tab. There's just a button for file name. It inserts it straight away. And I need to modify that to Arial size 8 italics. Page number, there's a button for that as well. You just select page number. And that will be Arial size 8 italics as well. And my initials over this side, BL, will become Arial size 8 italics as well. Really simple, really easy, that's not a hard one, and you will have done that before in your reports. So I'll just zoom out so you can see that a little better. There we go, so it's a little bit blurry, but you should be able to see that the file name is there, page number, and my initials. And then on the top, you got the date, job planner, and the logo across the top. Press save on your document. Okay. So all of the items for the footer can be found in the design tool, and it's just merely a process of clicking the button, inserting them, and then changing it to Arial, size 8 and italics. And that's the end of, before the end, we'll come in and we'll cross that out so that we've done it, and I'll save that too. I'll save a copy of this spreadsheet extract, so that next time I use it, next time I come to do this task, I'll know what I've done. I'll know the things that I've done. Okay. And in the next tutorial video, we'll look at this items from table, and we'll begin to insert some data into our actual table. We'll begin to fill these cells.